Welcome to the first ever Cosmic Custom Cup, hosted by me, ItFigures89, aka Tommy, aka Jay White is my real daddy, and I am joined by my co-host of the channel, Chaotic Convos, my co-host, Kaoswrestlingklub. Introduce yourself.
What's up? What's up, Jason? KWK. Just here to judge some figures.
Yeah, I mean, we were joined by three other amazing judges today for the contest. Introduce yourself, lads.
Ladies first.
Whoever wants to jump in first, man. Whoever's got the biggest balls.
Okay, so yeah, it's Matt, Attitudecustoms. Yeah, same as Jason, here to judge some figures. Good to be a part of the whole process. Looking forward to seeing what's up.
Alex, you're next.
All right, hey everybody. I'm Misterfigglesworth, Alex, if you want to call me that. This is going to be a fun time. Gonna rip some people apart, build some people up, and have some fun.
Wow.
Jordan, it's your turn.
Hausfourteen, just here for the fun.
That's right. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to hit these off in rounds and bracket style. So round one, we're going to jump right into it. Round one, we have our entrant is Sam Customs. And Sam brought us a Jushin Liger custom that will be on screen now. So this is the figure that we will be discussing right now. So let's jump into this Liger. So there's no back shots of it, which is fine. Because most of the detail for the Liger is in the front view anyway. Most of the logos and all that's in the front view anyway.
I like to see who has made it. So what was it? Sorry, Tom, Sam Customs?
Yeah, Sam made the Jushin Liger.
The Liger, yeah.
I've spoke with Sam before. Sam48_customs. There you go. 276 followers. We would like to get that to at least 500.
At least. Let's do that.
Sam's
So,
a good kid. He I see
Sam's
him
a great
posting. I see him posting a lot in one of the other custom chats. He's always working on something. He's always got something going.
Yeah, Sam's a great kid. Sam is always trying to do things outside of what he's comfortable doing. He's always like the Jushin Liger here that we're looking at has got a obviously a hand sculpted head. It looks like hair, as well as the mask has been hand sculpted. So this is Sam's introduction into sculpting and using green stuff and milliput. This is him going shooting straight for the moon here and going right for a hand sculpted Jushin Liger, which Attitude is probably one of the best sculptors on Instagram, definitely in this chat. So he's more able to tell you to give any tips regarding maybe how to nail the details better, because I mean, Attitude can tell you from looking at it, I'm sure that Jushin would be one of the more difficult heads to completely sculpt from nothing.
Yeah, looking at on his actual page, the Jushin that's on there is not the same Jushin as that he submitted.
I think this is an updated.
This is an update. Sure. This is what he sent me for judging. This is what he sent.
And based on the previous one, just points alone, not that I'm advocating a particular point, but just is worth a mention that what he had previously done compared to this is night and day. This is pretty sweet. Like he's had to go out on a bit of a limb because he sculpted those horns coming out on the side.
Correct.
And it's not just a question of getting them symmetrical and even and placed right and the right length and all the rest of it. It's also a case of the process he's got to go through to be able to get that to stay up and not, submit
droop.
To droop due to gravity and whatnot. So he's done pretty well to get them the way that they are.
So to combat that, do you think in the future that maybe he should sculpt them and let them dry slightly to where they're just rigid enough and then stick them on?
Yeah, I mean, if he's using green stuff, I don't really know the life cycle of green stuff from the point of mixture to the point of curing, but certainly,
what do you use, Matt?
I use milliput.
Okay, so milliput, I struggle with myself. I find that a little bit too moist.
Yeah.
Green stuff, you need to give it half an hour. You need to get it going, then you need to give it half an hour if you want details. So you do your normal shaping and then your details after. I actually find it works a lot better than milliput myself, but once it is cured, it's a lot harder to Dremel or sand than
Oh,
milliput.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it becomes literally solid, and it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, do you know what? It's good to know because I'm going to experiment a little bit this year. I'm going to buy some new stuff. I want that green stuff that you can cure that remains somewhat flexible because I've only used a cos clay before that requires you firing it in the oven, which presents its own issues, and it's not as good when soft to make good details with. But so not being able to comment on how this material works that he's used, I can still say it's pretty sick because aside from the fact, okay, yeah, there are symmetry issues with the horns that I personally would have continued to work at and try until I got it to where I was happy with. That being said, at a glance, you can absolutely see who it is, and they definitely serve their purpose. But I think the more notable thing about the mask is the fact that he's used the right amount of clay so as to not make the head so big. Because you know he's sculpting a mask over the top. He doesn't want to see the facial features because it doesn't adhere to like the contours of his face. It is somewhat smoothed off head as such, you know, in terms of the shape of the mask. And I think he's used some good restraint there to be able to make enough that it doesn't look huge. You know, the head itself isn't massive. But to be honest, I think the more notable part of this figure itself is the line work.
That's what I was just about to say. His line work for this figure is probably the best he's done.
That's what he hit. Yeah.
That being said, before moving away from the sculpting, I always appreciate when people sculpt the guards, like the gauntlets, wrist tapes, whatever it might be around the wrist. It could easily be painted. And it's admirable that he's done like those open back wrist straps there. So, you know, that's pretty decent as well. But the line work for me is what stands out. That white with black outline is decent.
And it looks like he's sculpted like different layers onto the gauntlet too, because there's a gold part on the gauntlet that looks raised from the white.
The glow.
So he definitely he put layers on the sculpt too. And I have noticed that Sam has a great eye for detail, but he sometimes struggles to get it across. But he definitely is aware of the details and tries to get them in, like the chest detail, like the decal on the chest, or the logo on the chest, the stitching on the crotch, and
you know what? It looks to me like there's some soft goods on around the waistband.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure it's some. I don't think it's sculpt. It's got to be some kind of something fabric.
It's a material that's been glued on for sure. So, I don't think it's plastic. It could be like
It looks like it's possibly
like a piece of a belt, like a piece, maybe
leather.
Yeah, a piece of a belt. It looks cool though, like, you know what I mean? And that's really working with what you got instead of just let me order some fake leather and wait for it to come and whatever. Like that's just really working with what you got.
Even look at
for the belt thing around his waist, that's real cool.
The teeth is decent, and you know what? Like in terms of symmetry,
the teeth,
the teeth are really nicely done, and he's got the right shade on the grey of his eyes because it has to appear that as if it's gauze,
like a mesh.
Yeah, and he's done really well with that, and particularly on that ab section there where he's got the symmetry on that white piece that comes up.
Yeah, on the white.
It's like 90% there.
And the black logos on the chest too. Yeah, and the gold, he managed to get like a nice reflective metallic gold. So that's good.
If you look at the mouth, it looks like you can still see the mouth of the figure underneath as well. I'm just trying to work out what head it is.
And I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just a smooth sculpt that he painted the mouth onto. I'm sure. And if that is, then we've been tricked, you know, that to make it think that there's a head under there.
It's convincing that it looks like it's the sculpt beneath.
Yeah.
You're right there, Meg.
Okay, so I mean, I would say that there's not much else to judge. I mean, the hair looks good from what I can tell. Hopefully, he did use green stuff. That way, it allows for some head movement versus.
I always want to point out when people use white, I just commend the white just because I know it's such
white is so hard to get
such a motherfucker to play with. Yeah. So
that's
if you even take a stab at white, you got, you know, kudos from me.
So
I
are
kind of
we-
need to bring
are
it to attention too that Sam had upgraded his paints recently, so his whites did not used to look like that. I can promise you. They had, you know, the paintbrush streaks and the goopiness. Just and part that was 90% the paint he was using. And I kind of told him that a while back, and he did upgrade his paints to Citadel Vallejo. So this is him with better paints and obviously improving
Good
his
shit.
Are
paint
we
skill.
just judging this time, or are we also offering advice?
Yeah, I would say that well, Attitude gave really good advice for the sculpt. I would say the only advice I would have for the paint, his colors, like, see, he went with such good colors. His colors look good. The colors of the paints that he's using are good. The
Right.
line work, the
The
line
first
work
thing
is
he needs for his
acceptable.
whites.
Yeah.
Is a grey. This is the specific grey that I use. That's
I use
basic.
that, and I use that game white. Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have made his whites pop.
Right.
It's
The
like a
other-
primer, kind of like a
Yeah,
primer.
the primer, like a primer gray. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
technically a primer, but it does work as a primer. The other thing that I've noticed, let me just find what I want to show. So it looks like he's using his white. There's a couple of Citadel whites. I can't even find it. One's called Dead White.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
that's the one I've got. I've got
That's the
that
one.
white.
So
Yeah.
the other
Dead
white is
the other one
called-
is Arctic White, I think, if again color, and it pops too much. It's too bright. You can't have a white looking too stark. You've got to have it a little bit dulled down, and that Dead White is great.
I think he's used white glaze, which is what I use as the last layer on top of my dead white. So what it is it's a thinner one, and that's why you can see that it's not solid white. That's why you can see that the white isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like the whites are good, to be honest, but if it had used a grey base, then a dead white instead of a white glaze, those whites would have popped.
Yeah, I agree.
But he has done well. He has done well. White is a bastard. White and
I think
orange.
where this one falls short paint wise, I think around the upper arm area where the bicep cut is, those lines could possibly those could have been a little cleaner.
It seems, Tom, like he's painted the black on top of the white or the red,
Right.
whereas what he should have done was painted a thicker black line and then painted
Done a
his
white in the
colour
middle.
up to the
Painted.
black.
Painted
Yeah.
up to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
instead of
painted up to
painting on
it.
it, you're painting up it, and that's why if you look at the thigh, there is a little bit of black smudge because that's been painted on afterwards. If he'd have carried on with that white and just tidied the lines up,
Right.
you wouldn't have that black smudge. But
Yeah, exactly.
that being said, these actual black lines on top are pretty decent, except for, as you said there, across the bicep. If you look at the crotch area, you look at the laces on the crotch, and you look around his stomach, he's done pretty nice black lines, considering that was probably done in one go.
Right. Yeah. So
What about Alex, what are you thinking?
I'm going off on a different kind of tangent when it comes to I really like to get down my formulas. So the formula that he's got for me could use just a little bit of work, maybe a little bit pudgier of
a little beefier.
a little bit beefier.
I think
Carl
it's Daniel
Carl
Bryan or
Anderson.
Jericho.
I believe it is Daniel Bryan, Miz.
That's
It
Whatever.
looks like
Daniel
a,
Bryan.
it looks like a Daniel Bryan for sure.
Right.
and
I
I-
think maybe agree, Alex. Maybe like a Bo Dallas or
Yeah,
sort of that.
Yeah.
just something a
or
little
Ric
bit
Flair, maybe even a
beefier.
flare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A flare would have been a good torso for that, if not Bo
I
Dallas.
mean, you could have stretched to maybe a Stone Cold torso. With,
Thank you.
I mean, he wasn't a small bloke, was he?
No, he was short. He was
No,
short. and chubby.
Jushin's he's got a barrel chested. He's a decent sized guy.
He's a light heavyweight, but he's
He always
chubby
has been.
light
He's a
heavyweight.
light heavyweight, yeah, but he's short. He's super short. He's like 5'6",
I'm
5'7".
just looking at an Austin torso now, and it probably would have afforded him a little bit more room to get the design on top of as well.
Right.
What I'm thinking of is, you know how they have.
I mean,
those-
he
those-
obviously used reference photos. Like I said, he wouldn't have known to put the detail that he did put in there if he wouldn't. So,
Yeah,
but I
what was
think
you
we
saying,
should
Alex?
probably give this maybe an overall.
So
So
what I was saying, just the legends, Arn Anderson and
Yes.
legends Tully Blanchard, I think would be a really solid fit for that as
Yep.
well, because it's
Yeah.
more of that barrel chested look.
yeah, without making it look like they're overweight or
Exactly.
husky.
Exactly.
If I,
I
could
agree.
just offer a quick summary, just on my views on it in general, I agree with all the touch-up thoughts in terms of around the upper arms with the paint, and that's all just time and finishing touches. And when it's me and I'm doing that shit, I get bored of touching up. So touching up is a
Right.
series of sessions. Got to keep going back with a fresh pair of eyes and go, God, it was monotonous doing all that rubbish before, and all those tiny changes that actually have big effects, but they're worthwhile. So you've got to do them in sittings if you really want to get by and reach the right result. But I think overall, because he's like sculpted the mask, sculpted the guards, he's gone for loads of line work. He's painted the whole figure as well. Like there's so many figures out there that are just trunks and tights being painted, and no one tackles.
Yeah, this
that
is from the floor to the top, like handed completely. So
yeah, he's gone the whole way, and
no decals, no custom head sculpts, nothing.
yeah, super ambition on this one, and I think for somebody who's intending to put that much detail and that much effort into the customizing, in a year from now, this guy's going to be on a new level, because look at the difference between the one he's got posted on his thread compared to this. It's sick.
Exactly. Yeah, he's leveled up so much, so quick. I'm so proud of him.
Massively.
I've
Yeah,
actually
and I
got a
hope- I hope he
conversation
takes
with
the
him.
feedback
I was
well.
just checking where he sent me his work last year and he sent me his work this year, and the difference was, like you said, day and night. And at the end of the day, that's all it's about, the effort and the willingness to want to put the extra work in, and he quite clearly does.
He was the first abductee that I had, actually, and it was kind of, well, he kind of inspired it, man, to see someone get that much better that fast. That inspired me, you know. I was like, wow, this kid, he really gives a shit about the community and about getting it done. So I don't know, overall, are you guys ready to give an overall out of 5?
Yeah.
I'll go first. Considering everything that we said, I'll give this one a 3.8 out of 5.
Oh, we're going decimals. Okay.
I'm not. Tommy might
I'm
be.
not.
Yeah. I'll
Well,
give it
I'll round
I'll
up
give
to
it a
4. How about
4.
that? I'll round
Yeah.
up to
I was
4.
gonna
Yeah,
say
round up to 4.
I'll say 4 as well. Top to bottom, floor. Yeah. You
4.
got sculpt. You got white. Yeah, it's just
It's
Alright.
a 4 from me.
4 from you.
Purely because where it may have been a 3, the effort shown bumps him up. So it's a 4 from me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go when it comes to a few different factors. Ballsiness, because it takes a lot to sculpt a mask from the ground
Jushin
up.
Liger, dude.
Exactly.
Jushin Liger.
Hey, Alex, I'll
Not
agree with
just
you there,
like
mate, because
Sin Cara or you know.
I've been asked to make a couple
Preston
of
Vance.
logos, and I'm just like, nah, fuck you, because
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Preston Vance Chaos knows. The Preston Vance takes quite a bit of work, but man, I'm not gonna sculpt you a Jushin Liger mask, bro. I'm not. Sam will. So yeah. So what's your final score, Matt or Alex? Sorry.
So when it comes to mask, being ballsy enough to do white attires, as we all know, is tough. I'm gonna give him a 4, just when it comes to, you know, from the beginning of his customizing career to now, he's just progressed so much that it's like I can't not give him anything less, you know, more than a 4, less than a 4.
Do you know what as well?
It's just
Rob?
gotten so much better.
So he's decided to make his own mask instead of purchasing one that's available. Now that might be because he's a young lad and he ain't got the money to do it. But
Right.
if he keeps improving like that, people are going to say to him, help me up with a commission. Yeah, it might only be 10, 20 quid, but then that's 10, 20 quid he can go and buy the Jushin Liger mask from and rework his custom and then sell that for 50, and then boom, you're away.
Yeah.
That's how it
Yeah.
starts.
Definitely.
All right. So I think the only overall we have left is from Matt. Matt.
Do you know what? It's tough because we haven't seen all the others. So, you know, 4s now might be a 3 later. But
Right.
saying that, you know, I look at it, I know who it is straight away. I can see a lot of myself in terms of how he's tried to capture details, make sculpted pieces, not just the mask, but the other bits as well. Is super ambitious, and I like it. I really, really like it. So it's an easy 4. If we were going decimals, then I would say 4.5, but it's definitely 4. It's sick. I really like it. I think whoever's done this has really gone in, and I'm fucking proud of them. Sick.
Can I?
So yours
can I
is the final 4?
Can I actually decimal? Because what Matt's just said there then is that if this is a 4 and something much better comes up, it can only be a 5. So can I 3.5 this, please?
Okay, yeah, we'll take you down to 3.5. So 4 from me, 4 from Chaos, 3.5 from Hausfourteen, 4 from Attitude.
And that's not a knock on Samsung. That's just giving me room, because if there's going to be a 5,
giving you a higher ceiling
it's
for
gonna be a
more
5,
customs.
yeah.
Right.
It's the Barstool pizza rating type thing.
Hey, I'll follow that.
All right. So what would be
Who's
the
next?
the next one? I have to pull it up.
Is it Roman?
Drop it
I
in the
believe
group.
it is Roman is the next one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here it is.
In the white
Got it.
tights or white trousers.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
white
the-
and gold Roman. Now,
the fantasy.
this is from I want to go ahead and let the world know what we're looking at here. So the next entry is coming to us from Underdog Figure Artist, and it is his God Mode Roman Reigns. So we'll put that up on the screen now for you. Everybody can see what's going on. So this is the figure we will be judging next. This one will go against the Jushin Liger that we just judged. So this will be Sam versus Underdog Figure Artist for round 1. And this is the bottom of round 1 here. We're looking at Underdog Figure Artist and Roman Reigns. So first thoughts, let's go with Jason first on this one.
I mean, again, white, super duper clean.
White is very hard.
Yeah, it looks like he knows how to the thin tactic as well, because you don't see many brush strokes, at least on this picture that I'm looking, my picture at least. I don't see any brush strokes or any like glops or misprints or anything. So
Right.
yeah, that's the thing that jumps off the screen for me. The boots, the lines are clean. The gold's
boot lines are
nice.
nice.
It's solid.
And you know from
Yeah, just
working
super solid.
with the belts that you work with, how gold behaves, how that metallic
Yeah.
sheen gold behaves when you want to put it on plastic. And
Yeah, there's 100 different golds out there, and I only like one of them. So yeah, no, I know 99% of them are shit. So
and
to
his
get
looks
it
nice.
to get it to pop and work and look like, you know, actual gear, it's solid.
What gold do you like?
I
Is
use
that a secret?
no, I'll go ahead. I use the tester's enamel, so I use enamel for my resin.
We don't got
Okay.
testers here, Matt. We have to use Tamiya.
I don't even use Tamiya, bro. I use polished gold is fucking sick. And I've got another one. I think it's made by a company called Lumiere. And it's really, really nice.
I've got a Mr. Color or something on the way, which is apparently really good. The Tamiya I've got, it's not great.
I've never bought it. I'll send you a link. There's one on Amazon. You get £8. I'm sure it's called Lumiere. They're pretty big tubs as well, and they're really, really nice. But I'll tell you, I'm sure it's Game Color or Valet. No, I don't think it's. Yeah, it must be Game Color. Polished gold, really nice. Got a really good finish to it. But I don't know what you want to put on top to get the shine. If you're looking on belts, maybe it's not ideal for belts. But in terms of, is that it? Polished gold.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I think it's nice. If you put it with a little bit of Vallejo thinners, it applies really nice. You got to go loads of layers, but.
Yeah,
that's why I like that tester's in it, because it just shines. You don't have to do anything to it; it just shines on one application and it shines.
I do appreciate that we're giving.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say I appreciate we're given some different angles here to look at with this custom. Not just a front shot.
Oh,
we're able to see the coverage, front and back of the white.
This is another one. This is
that
another
doesn't
one.
just look good from one angle. That's how it looks from all angles, you know.
I'm not really up to date on Roman Reigns figures. So would somebody talk me through what's been done on this one?
Painted the trousers, painted the gauntlets,
Pants
painted
and
the back of the
gauntlets.
shoes, and it looks like he's swapped out the arms for double jointed.
Is the white wrist gauntlet, is that sculpted?
No,
No,
yes,
I
by
don't believe
Mattel.
so.
Oh, yeah, right, sculpted by.
It's sculpted by Mattel.
So there's been no modifications there, Matt, other than paint work.
Yeah, paint is the only mod here, so I mean that's what that is. So we'll have to factor that in. I wouldn't say that's a positive or a negative. That's just gonna be factored in. Yeah, black trousers to start with.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is
there's
another
been
one that
You can see
that
from the
There's been a
knee.
decal used on there as well. If you look at the gold gauntlet, that's actually got the Air Roman logo.
Okay. And what about the beard? The beard looks painted.
Nah.
No? A bit
No,
shiny.
that's his head sculpt. Yeah.
Okay.
This is one that
Oh, I don't know actually.
would
It
benefit
looks really,
from
really glossy.
Yeah. Sorry, Jace.
This is one I think that would benefit from like a layer of like a primer, like below,
This is
because
one
you
of
can
those
see that
things, too,
black
like-
kind of coming through.
This is like the curse of those figures, like Stone Cold. How do you make? You don't see custom Stone Colds because what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So with Roman, it's like what else could he have added to make this level, like a level 10? You know what I mean? Like what else could he have done to make a better
So-
Roman?
I don't mind fantasy attires if it's not a cop out. Some people just do an absolute dog shit custom and then say, "Oh, fantasy," and it's like, no, that's bullshit. This is a fantasy attire because you could see him wearing this maybe for like a Mania or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's not just a cop out. It's not just like, oh, you know what I mean? A bit of effort's been put into it. I don't personally think he could have improved it other than maybe a soft goods and a belt, but that's near evil. You know what I mean? It's nothing, is it?
Yeah.
That's not the custom.
Right, that's not the custom. I mean, unless he would have made his own double belt from nothing, and then you know what I mean? Yeah, unrealistic kind of stuff.
I personally
What I
think
will
the
say
white-
about
the
this
white
is
supplied quite nice.
Yeah, I think, and I'm really, really splitting hairs here because, with all due respect, there's not an awful lot to look at in terms of like massive transformation. There's like a small speck of like dry paint that's got in on his right thigh. That's not the end of the world. It happens. It annoys us all. Sometimes you don't even notice it when it's happening and it's too late to take it off. Or if you do want to take it off, you've got a lot of like picking it out, sanding it off, trying to blend it so that you can't see where you've reapplied the white paint to touch it up. But what I would say that the main amount of skill applied here is trying to lay that gold down on an even tone and keep those lines crisp. And something to be said is, you know, in the previous one for the Jushin Thunder Liger on the upper arms, where they didn't go back in with the red and take out the blurriness of the white, or where they didn't go in on the tights and take out those slightly, the lines kind of bled in some of those black lines where maybe the paint was slightly watered down too much. On this, there's no way he would have applied that gold in the first attempt as crisply as he has. So he has gone back in with the white to touch it back up. So that's attention to detail. That's the finishing touches. That's having a
yeah,
regard for
100%. Especially that seam line on the side being
Yes.
that really, really tiny thin gold line. He had to have gone back in there with the white to touch that up.
Yeah. Even looking at the
Yeah, the
belt,
belt loops,
it would be easy for him to have painted that belt right up to the top of the trousers, but he's allowed for that white rim to continue around his waist so that you can see that there's a distinction between the belt and the actual trousers.
Hell yeah.
Those type of things, you can overlook them, but there's a great deal of people out there that wouldn't. You know, they would just apply that gold as they wanted to. And, you know, so in terms of application, the paint work is pretty crisp.
Matt, what about you? What's your thoughts? I mean, Alex. Sorry, Matt, you just gave your thoughts. Shut up.
The paint's really crispy. It looks really nice. The gold accents around like the waist and the belt, and the boots. That's all really, really like. It's really, the line work is really good on it. Like I was saying before, this one could have benefited with that, you know, maybe like a base primer on the legs, just to kind of give it more of that pop. But that's just me being nitpicky. Ultimately, it looks really good. one, like you guys were saying, it's hard to do a custom Roman because he really doesn't have much of a diverse gear set.
Right.
But from what he was doing, what he was trying to do with this God mode fantasy attire, looks
Yeah.
pretty good.
All right, so we get ready to give an overall for this one. I would say Jace, go first.
I'm gonna decimal this. This 3.5.
Yep. Okay. Jordan.
I'm gonna 3 this.
All right. 3. Attitude. What about you, bro?
With the greatest respect, I'm going to say 2.5.
Alright.
It's not for the sake of it not being a good figure. Like, I could look at that not knowing Roman Reigns figures and not know if that was as it came out the factory or not, unless I look really closely to see the paint application. But I just think, personally speaking, if I'm looking at what the previous custom was and how much effort and detail was added to that,
Which is what this is, yeah.
And when I think of custom figures, more often than not, and I know I've done a few Derby repaints, I would say that I'm trying to create something that doesn't exist. And yes, this attire doesn't exist, but it was only achieved via paint. And I don't know, I just feel that there's enough distance between the last one and this one to justify 2.5.
That's what I'm thinking. So this is technically a much cleaner custom, but there's a
lot less work.
What's the word I'm looking for? The enthusiasm. I don't know. It's not. Do you know
the
what
ambition?
I mean?
Not adventurous.
The ambition. The lad previously tried. I'm not saying he didn't try, but he's done a lot more. This, if you was to be picky, would be called a repaint.
Yeah. What he needed to achieve on this, he's nailed. But what he needed to achieve was less than what the previous guy needed to achieve. And even if he didn't do it to the same standard, I feel that because of his
there was less to do.
He's done more.
There was less to do to get it done. Yeah.
Exactly.
Alex, what about you?
I'm going to go a similar route when it just comes to, I guess, originality, because like they're saying, it is kind of like a glorified repaint. Not saying that that's bad by any means, but I'm going to go with a 3 on this.
All right. I'm going to go 3 as well. And I held that from the beginning. I'm just going to go straight down the middle with 3 because to me, there's nothing off. And if anything, there are what he could have done, he absolutely did. Like Matt was saying, over the waistline with the pants and the belt distinction and having to go up around the edges with that white and clean up and not make it look, too white against the rest of it, if that makes sense. But yeah, all things considered, every nook and cranny that he could have gone to get this done, he did go to that length as far as adding the decal. But yeah, there are a couple of small flaws that knock it off, like the smudge, like he was saying, the smudge on the thigh. Just minor things like that. Just things that happen to all of us, but for whatever reasons, made it to the final cut of the figure. So yeah, all things considered, I'm gonna give it a 3 too. So we've got a 3 from me, a 3 from Jason, and that's a 2.5 from 14.
3,
and 2.5 from Attitude. That's my fault. And a 3 from Mr. Figglesworth. All right. So there is round 1. And I would say we leave it to this or that. Fellas, what would you say? Final verdict. Go, Matt.
Of the 2 of those?
Yes. This is who's the winner? Who gets the 3 count?
It's Jushin.
Okay.
I'll second that, Liger.
Definitely Sam with the Liger.
3 Ligers. 14 Liger. I'm going to go Liger as well. That's a
Yeah,
clean
Liger.
sweep for Liger. Liger goes through to round 2.
Let's go.
Liger goes through purely on, for me, like you said, ambition.
Yeah, effort. Yeah.
Because
I mean, not saying other homie didn't put effort in, but like everybody was saying, yeah. Toes to the top of the head, full custom.
Straight up, yeah.
Liger.
Full custom.
On a quick side note there, he's actually also currently making a Kishin Liger.
Yes, he is too.
So
yeah,
that's
unmasked
actually-
Liger.
I'm actually
And it's
looking
coming along
forward
really
to see
nice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
same.
on another side note, Alex, you're looking very fucking Batista there, brother.
Sorry, I didn't realize I'm so close.
All right, you guys ready for our next matchup? So
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, let's go.
all right, man. Yeah, we're knocking these out like Oscar De La Hoya. All right, so round 2, we've got DZW with the Will Ospreay. See if we can get a picture of that up now.
I've got a problem with this.
Shoot.
So the Will Ospreay, shown here by DZW for everyone. Funny story behind that is that was the Secret Santa gift that was meant to go out to the Grinch who stole
Oh,
Christmas.
boo.
Oh, fuck that guy.
But
that
the
guy.
story has a happy ending. The figure was intercepted by the real Santa of Christmas and brought back
Nice.
to justice.
Nice.
Brought back to DZW to the brought back to its maker. So
So
we have-
it never arrived with that prick.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Intercepted.
Chris Kringle himself,
Yeah.
midair, straight interception, NFL style, and took it right straight to the touchdown, right to home, right home, baby.
Hey,
So we
if there's
got
any
that
kids
going on.
listening to this, Santa isn't real.
Oh, bro, I haven't even brought my kid up about thinking Santa's real. I worked too hard to fucking outsource my credit to him.
Yeah, fuck that.
All right,
I'm
yeah.
taking credit.
Some
That is
fat
true,
white
that is
guy.
true.
Sorry.
Straight up.
Can I start with my problem? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
go.
judge it. My problem is one picture is far superior to the second picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, you should have just
And-
not said that first one.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that my judgment on the second picture is going to bring down the overall, because he's submitted it as an overall, and I think the second picture is going to bring down the overall because the first picture is possibly a 5.
Wow.
Well, let's
So the belt picture you're saying is a 5.
for reference, for reference,
The one without the
so
mask.
everyone can see. Hold on, guys. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. For everyone on YouTube, we've got 2 different head sculpts on this Will Ospreay. The first one, the masked head sculpt, has been completely sculpted by DZW, painted, sculpted, all that stuff onto. I'm not sure what the base head was, but it
Cody
has been
Rhodes.
painted and sculpted. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. Cody Rhodes base head sculpt. So that was hand sculpted and hand done with the I believe the Shane Helms repainted Hurricane entrance cape.
Sorry, that original head sculpt is Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, look at the eyes.
Yeah, how the fuck do
and
you know that, bro?
the second
Nah.
variant.
It makes
of
sense,
the-
but just off the
the-
dome, that was quick.
the second
but the
variant
nose,
is
The nose
an
is so much
unmasked
wider.
an unmasked Will Ospreay is the second variant that we're talking about. So when the boys here are talking between picture 1 and picture 2, picture 1 is the masked version, and picture 2 is the unmasked version. For reference, now you all may cause chaos.
Matt,
What, you're telling me that's behind the mask?
either that one or where's the other shit? There's a couple of shitty. Yeah, that's the one anyway.
Wow. Yeah, no, do you know what? You're right. I swear to God, yeah.
I know I'm right. I wouldn't have said it otherwise.
Fucking hell. Wow. What
I mean, Alex is the formula king. I know exactly what that formula is. Go on, Alex.
Let's see. I feel like it's a Seth Lowers. Maybe a Seth. No.
Isn't that Road Dog legs?
It's Road Dog, yeah.
Yeah. The Legends Road Dog.
If you look at the picture with the belt, you can see it. Oh, actually, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think it is. But he's put Road Dog legs.
Mhm.
Now
I'm not anyone's
I'm a bit confused by the crotch there, because if you look at the right thigh, you can see the.
It's got like the baggy pants sort of.
Yeah, but if you look at the crotch, now the crotch hasn't got that baggy pants, but
it's
it has
smooth,
got a long,
yeah.
it has got a longer crotch, which wouldn't be.
So he just
normal.
put different legs on it.
What's the upper body?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a full-on Road Dogg Legends upper body too, because it's got the double jointed elbows. It's got
I've not seen the Road Dogg underneath. What's that upper body there, Alex? Is that it's not a Balor, is it? That's a Ric Flair.
That's either a Flair or a Balor, but I think it's a Flair because the Balor is like 6 more abs than that one does.
Yeah, he's got the pec split as well. I like it. I think it's really well done.
Is
I'm
this
not
the
sure.
I
that the
think the
master?
elbow pad, by the way, the white elbow pad
Yeah,
that he
Yeah.
used, I think it's cloth.
no, that's a normal.
Let me
That's a normal
see.
Mattel.
It looks
Okay,
like
no,
one
no.
of. It looks like one that Ivy's
No, you're
custom
right, you're right,
fitties
you're right.
makes.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Matt, that was the mask. Matt,
I don't
put
know
that up
how
again,
he
Matt.
did the sash. It's obviously like a ribbon.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be that. So what I was
Okay.
saying was my issue isn't like I like the mask, to be honest, and this goes against what we said earlier. The effort gone into it is, substantial, really. That I mean, Tommy just said that's a repainted Hurricane front.
I mean, the things on the
It's not.
hands, he obviously added that, and the gauntlets.
Yeah, but that's not a Hurricane chest piece with the cap. That's a cape added onto a piece of card. That's what's losing it for me.
No, it's
that
the
chest piece.
Hurricane. It's the Hurricane piece. He just cut it.
Okay,
It's got to
yeah.
be.
Do you know
I
what?
can.
Do
If
you know
you
what? I
look
can see the
really
logo.
hard under the design, yeah.
I don't like it. That's what puts it off for me. So it depends whether you're going to want me to judge on the overall or judge on the better picture. Because if I'm going by the better picture, that's a 5. It's at least a 4 point. That's a 4.5. And if I'm going on the other one, it's going to be lower to 4.
Did he paint the head too?
Oh yeah, the head came to him blank.
Tight.
It was for the Santa, like I said. So
He has done a good paint job on that, to be honest. Who's this again?
Yeah.
Sorry, DW.
That's real good.
Yeah, DDW, yeah.
One of my.
There's actually
bugaboos-
some more pictures. I don't want to tell you that because it's unfair.
I think better lighting would also kind of help this entry out a little bit too.
Yeah.
Not saying that it takes anything's taken away from it, but I just think the details and the pants and the legs could be better seen.
Right.
Okay, so there are some better posts on his
That's
picture.
what I'm looking at now.
And if you zoom in,
That's unfair, Matt, to use the better post when someone hasn't offered the better post. What he should have
Very
done was
true.
offered the better posts.
yeah, fair point. I mean, if we're going by this alone, I completely agree with Jordan. I think the letdown for him, maybe in this instance, is that he's included the second picture, because you see the first one and you say, okay, yeah, that's sick, and then you see the next one, and there's something about that chest piece that he's.
It's torn me because it's like you see the first picture and then you go, oh, fuck me, he's made an effort. He's done a second head. He's done this. He's done that. But then you look at it and you go, was the effort? The effort's there, but the quality of the effort,
the execution is not ideal.
me. Yeah.
What is that chest piece? What's that supposed to look like? Has anyone got a reference picture?
I'll have a look at it now.
I found the mask. I've not been able to find that chest piece.
I'll send it in chat.
Oh,
Okay.
the actual. Oh,
Yeah. So
Osprey's
if I'm looking at this the way that it is, similar to the last one, we've got gold lines around the kick pads. It's difficult to get a good saturation of gold in there when you're having to apply those layers again and again. The light plays with your eyes. Sometimes it looks like you haven't got any gold on. From another angle, it looks like you've got loads on. Gold as it.
There you go, Matt.
Okay,
So it should have had fur. It should have had fur around the edges.
Yeah.
Right. So look, the way I would look at it is he's made a suggestion of what should be there, but it is detrimental to the overall look. And I would say that it's not finished. And I wouldn't personally, I'm only speaking truthfully. I'm not out to big anybody up unnecessarily or tear anyone down unnecessarily. I'm only being honest. I just think that chess piece is unfinished. It's got things to be done on there that don't accurately represent what it should be.
The details.
Yeah, and looking at the mask, whereas he's got such clean line application on the beard, I know it sounds really horrible, but I don't understand why he can't apply the same degree of application on the mask. It hasn't applied in the same way. But if I discount,
Is it a decal? It looks like
No,
red.
no, it's all hand painted.
It looks like red and yellow in the mask.
So
It is. It's red and yellow.
What you're saying about the chess piece? What I would have done was work from that
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
added some fur. You've got the sash, you've got the chest, you've got the cape.
Yeah.
do you know what? One thing I will say is I have kind of, not to go on too much of a tangent, but look, when I've tried to make my figures, I've looked at like what's best painted, what's best sculpted, what works best with soft goods, thinking about articulation, how easy it would be, all the limitations of cost, all that sort of stuff. And I know how difficult it is to apply soft goods to anything, working with a few different materials, cotton, organza, synthetic leather, whatever it might be, fur even. It's all tough. Well, synthetic fur, obviously, but it's all tough to work with. It's difficult to get symmetry. It's hard to tailor anything to a 3D sculpt, especially when you have no previous experience, but you just want to achieve it because you want to use that particular material. So I applaud the soft goods application because it's an admirable thing to try. And the paint coverage on it is fine if you want to look at that. But I mean, I don't think it looks anything like the original reference material, which is a shame. But I think taking all of that out of consideration, you know, looking at the rest of the figure, he saw some pretty good parts to achieve the look that he's trying to get. I like the fact that there's a tonal aspect to the trousers, you know, in terms of there's a mixture of blue and green in there. I'm not overly familiar with this attire or wrestler, if I'm entirely honest, but looking at the paint applications, looks like they're sculpted on the backs of the hands.
It's a form of dragon scales, isn't it? Because is it Hayabusa, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Hayabusa tribute.
Yeah, Hayabusa tribute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that waistband, it looks to me like it's a really tiny scaled down version of something that's sort of like studded or embossed with something. It looks like there's almost like a diamond print to it.
That's just like a Christmas paper.
Yeah, it's like a holographic ribbon.
It's so good.
Yeah, hollow ribbon.
Like a gold
I've
leaf.
seen it a million times, and I've thought that's a really good. I mean, I keep all that shit. Sad as it might sound, like I'm going to make a macchiato one day. I've saved loads of small pieces of tartan that is scaled down so it's not so big. You know, like bits like ribbon and stuff like that. I saved that shit. And if he's used it, then that's applied beautifully. That personally, that looks really nice. There's no problem with that whatsoever. The paint application is good. The skin tone match on the head, if it came blank compared to the body, is really nice as well.
Yeah, it did come blank to him. Came great.
And you know what as well? I like the fact that he posed it nicely. I fucking hate a badly posed figure. And, you know, it's posed nicely. It's got the determined face. This is a sick image of a figure. There's nothing to be taken away from that. I think it's just that the elephant in the room is the neck sculpt. Whilst it's sculpted very nicely, the shape of the mask itself adheres nicely to the face. It's got the right contours. It doesn't look blobby. It's just, unfortunately, the paint application is not as accurate as I would want it to be. And that chest piece, whilst proportionately it looks good, symmetrical wise, it's close, but it's devoid of any detail. So it doesn't come across, and it diverts your eye away from all the good bits of the figure.
The question
you don't
for
ever
me,
want to
Tom,
look at it and say good enough. You know,
the question for me, Tom, on judging is, I don't want to give this a 5 and it's going to win the overall competition if no one else reaches a 5. Are we 1v1ing all the way through to the finals, or am I overall in the whole
we're 1v1ing.
I was going to ask that too.
We're 1v1ing all the way, and then when we get to the next round,
new scores.
It'll be winner versus winner versus winner, or whatever.
That's fair, because what I didn't want to do was give this a 5 because I want to be true. So my rating is first picture 5, second picture 3, and that's why I'm going to give it a 4.
Good. That's good. Good average.
It's a nice little average.
I'm in agreement with Jordan. I think that's a fair thing to say. I think 5, I can't really critique it that much at all. You know, it's really good. It's just, unfortunately, the alternative because it has to be included because it's been submitted, detracts
Yep,
away from
yep.
that score.
I've literally got nothing bad to say about the first picture.
No,
At all.
Yeah,
Nothing.
me same. Everything looks good.
Me too.
The parts are right. The sculpts are right.
The face,
Um,
I mean, he painted the face too. That, like, you guys know, I've said
Yeah,
it, I've
dude,
said it
the
100
hand-
times. I don't know how y'all paint heads. Like that shit's,
Yeah.
that
He
shit
does
alone
good.
puts it over. Yeah.
So on
And
the
if you look
actual
at his
post on his
page,
account,
he did 90% better than he did on anything else he's posted on his page
Right.
with
Yeah,
that.
on-
You know?
And,
Go on,
and
Matt.
even though it's blurred, I can see even from the blurred image, the eyes and the eyebrow application is spot on. It's absolutely
good,
spot
yeah.
on.
Absolutely.
There's nothing bad for this person in terms of him walking away with any bad feelings from our critique. It's only
Nah.
because we have to split hairs and we're looking at what you've given us. I mean, the head sculpt's perfect, sick.
Mhm.
Looks fine
Yeah.
from where I'm sitting.
All right. So that leaves Alex. What is your overall?
Strictly from the second picture, to me, it seemed like an afterthought when it came to the mask and the, I guess, chest piece.
Yeah.
And that kind of did bring my score down as well. I'm gonna have to go 3.5, just to kind
Yeah.
of average them out like how Jordan was. Like that first picture was really good, but to me, it just seemed like that mask and chest piece were just kind of thrown in at the last second to try and
Right.
just do a little bit more. Didn't have a full idea, I guess, fleshed out from what I'm
Yeah.
assuming. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go 3.5.
Yeah, I think using the same logic, the first picture with the hand painted head, it's got to be a 5. I did give God Mode Roman a 3, and even the bad paint or it's not bad, but the mist paint on the masthead, it was still a little bit better, a little bit more ambitious than God Mode Roman. So I'll have to, I can't give it a 3 for that. So I'm gonna have to average mine out and have to say 4, because I would give it a 3.5 for
Yeah.
the other picture,
It's
and
fair.
5 and a 3.5. I mean, if we're not doing points, I'll just round up and give it a 4.
That's fair.
So well, he does have hope. We do have hope for DZW here. He's still strong in the game because our next submission and his opponent for round 2 is going to
It's
be
very evil.
Duncan.
First question.
Duncan, very evil. So
First
I will
question.
yes, Jason,
What?
the answer is yes.
He did?
No,
Yeah.
no, the answer is no. The other answer is yes.
Well, did he paint this head?
No.
Okay.
no.
Tells me. Okay.
I think what I
Do you know
do
what?
think
Hang on, did he?
we
Let me-
have here
Did
is
you?
we have
I wonder who
decal
painted it.
application.
Did you?
No.
I think I did.
Yeah. I
Did I,
did
Tommy?
one
Did I
for
paint
him,
this
and
one?
Justin did
Dynamite,
Jason,
bro.
or Jordan did another one. I did one for him for sure, because the tights that he's wearing under those pants, I did.
Let me just check back on our chats because I remember
Now
asking him.
what he did do was he did do the decal app. I know he did do the decal application.
I can't
This
remember
guy-
if I painted that.
Wait,
head or
those
not.
are
Tights.
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy
they're
shit.
The
cloth
whole
pants.
scope.
They're
Oh, wow.
cloth pants, but
That's
they're over.
dope.
I believe the ones I did.
I have a pair of those on order.
Are those from
No,
PWR? No.
no. I couldn't tell you who they're from. They're from some bloke in like fucking fuck it in Thailand or some shit.
It's not Ralph, is it?
Nah. Fuck me.
They are
He
outsourced.
ordered them
That
this
is,
year,
that
bro.
is
They came
the
this
point
year.
here. He did not make those pants. They are outsourced,
Yeah.
along
They
with
are
the
outsourced.
head. And I think all we're looking at here is a decal application. And an overall look, it does overall, it does the job. And it looks like Danhausen. The part choices, I believe he used a Shinsuke Ultimate.
We need to confirm if I painted that head or not, because if
Let
he
me look
did,
deeper at it.
That
That's
depends
what
on what score you'll give it.
I can
Yeah.
tell
Well,
by the
me
way
for
and-
sure.
Me and
Yeah.
Jordan do it a little bit different. No, I definitely did not. No, I didn't do that.
no, it's whether he painted it or not. But
I think he did do that. Because Jordan, I don't think you did that, and I didn't do that
I'm gonna message him.
Yeah.
because I leave my ears a little bit weathered I do my the cheek lines a little bit differently because everyone does their cheek lines weird.
He's
Are
got
those
my
tights from
hair.
Sabotage Wrestling?
No,
They're not from Sabotage.
no. I'll tell you who they're from in a second. I'm just looking for our messages. Tommy, if you
It's-
look at his hair, that's shaded. I'm pretty sure I painted that.
They would stain his figure if they were from Sabotage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
These are from. Fuck me. God, I speak to this bloke a lot.
They're not from Colt, are they?
Who?
Colt Customs?
I don't
Looks
think
like
so.
Lucha's material.
Right. So my problem with the tights is that
It's
he hasn't pulled
sublimated.
them off. He hasn't pulled them up enough. Pulled them up enough to cover what was underneath.
Yeah, it was a decal from where I made the tights from before, and it peeled off a little bit at the top. It looks like from putting the pants on.
Where the fuck is our conversation?
Okay, while we're deliberating,
Well, yeah. So that we're here to judge it. The pants
Yeah.
are outsourced.
Sorry.
The head
Yeah.
is outsourced, and I believe we are looking at a decal application
The pants
onto
are
a
outsourced by
Shinsuke
heshop.studio_custom.
right. So whose body is this?
Shinsuke
Okay.
Ultimate.
Shinsuke Ultimate.
And then it's on what legs?
On just I think I used this was an elite. I don't even remember what pants I used, or I know I used
Aiden English, isn't it?
I can't remember. Maybe it was in English. Anyway, they're just tights legs with short boots.
Okay, so just correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not tearing anyone down. Is this a coordination of parts, or is this something that this guy's
He
actually
did
done?
swap. So he did the torso swap, and he put the decals onto the arms and torso. The head was outsourced. It is a Hausfourteen head. Who painted it is up for debate.
I'll let you know in a sec. He's just replying to me.
And the pants are also outsourced. So,
But applied by him.
But applied by him, correct?
And okay, and these are these trousers or pants, whatever you want to call them, are they just a case of pulling them up over the legs of the figure?
Yeah.
Correct.
And then he pops the boots on afterwards. He slaps the
No.
decals on, and he
Likely not. He likely just pointed the
Slid 'em
feet down
over.
and slid them over it. Yep.
Is it like a spandex type material?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a stretchy material. Correct.
That's why I
So
thought it
what's-
was Lucha's.
Pro
What's
Lucha, yeah.
underneath is what I want to know, because like I said, he's left it open. Has he done an attire underneath? And if so-
Jordan, it's the exact same print, but in a decal on to plastic.
Okay.
It is the exact same waistband with the teeth and the Danhausen face in the front. It's the exact same thing underneath it, but in decal, and the decal is peeled off, obviously, because he rubbing the pants on, putting the pants on him.
Yes. Okay. This off note, this figure will improve in the next couple of weeks because I have sent him some strange hands. I mean, I'm biased by it because it's my head. I like it. If you take the head out of it, it's still a good custom. Is it a custom? Yeah, he's customized it decal wise. He's added the trousers. He's done the body parts. I can't go fives on it, and I can't go threes on it, and it's a. Do you know what I mean? It just is what it's fucking meant to be. The cleanliness of it takes over the perhaps lack of ambition that we mentioned earlier, because let's be honest, it is just a body swap and some decals. However, having done those decals, they're a bit of a bastard sometimes, and they are applied, you know, barring, I mean, I can't tell if that's a line in the decal or the pattern, but they do look applied pretty clean. Yes, I painted that head. He's just confirmed.
Okay, so that's your head.
Yeah. I'm going to go 3.5 purely by the fact that I painted the head and I can't give it any higher because that's unfair.
I'm gonna go right down the middle and give it a 3. It is what it's supposed to be, and it is a good looking Danhausen. When you look at it, that's a good looking Danhausen.
Yeah.
But when you consider what went into it, yeah, I'm gonna give the work that went into it by him, by Duncan, I'm going to give the work here a 3.
I'll piggyback that. I'll give it a 3 too. It's going to look better than the Jazz wears, but it's not, not that it's nothing special, but it's not as,
It's what it's supposed to be.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be a little bit more of a stickler here. I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Yep.
Strictly because, granted, I work with tattoo decals. I understand that can be tough, but when it comes to the amount of work and painting that the Osprey went through for his pants and painting the head by himself and things like that, I'm a little bit more of a stickler for that. So let's go 2.5.
Okay, so in a this or that, who gets the 3 count? Start with Hausfourteen.
I'm gonna have to say Osprey. It's just got a little bit more pop.
Attitude.
I would have given this a 2.5 as well. It looks great. Like, to look at it, it looks great. The head sculpt is sick. The tattoos, everything at a glance looks great. For me, it's just it's not the lack of skill, because it's not a case of not anybody could do it, but it's a 2.5 because there's a lot of source parts. And as much as the coordination of those parts and the application of the decals is pretty good, although I can't help but say I'm not going to sell myself short. Now I can see creases in the right wing of it, like the right, as in from the figure side of things. I'm not being bad, but it's a 2.5 for me. It's lovely, and if someone sent me that and said, "Here, I made you a Danhausen," I'd be chuffed. But it's a 2.5.
Fair. Stern, but fair.
Sorry.
Figgles. No, it's fair, man. That's absolutely fair.
Bro.
And there's logic behind it. There's logic behind it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna
You
go
got a
Osprey.
long way to go.
Osprey with the dub for this one.
I will also go Osprey.
Me
Who was the
personally,
guy?
I don't
Based off
like
of
when
Who was the guy
people
that
enter
made it?
competitions with other people's parts. So there used to be a couple of guys that would build a custom and use, say, for example, my painted head and say, "Oh, this is a collaboration," and it's like, it's not a collaboration. You bought my head painted to use on your custom. That's fair. That's fine. I'm not knocking that, but you can't be entering these things into competitions, because that is not knocking Duncan, obviously, but that now becomes a Hausfourteen Bones Duncan custom, and the other bloke who made the trousers, as opposed to the other person. So is it DZW? He did all of the work. He even had his head from Headeration. Sort of, he did the work himself.
exactly.
To your point,
Right.
and not taking anything away from homie, but when you sent it to me earlier in the chat, I was like, "There's this this is the top one. Like, it's not even a competition." When I saw this figure, now unfortunately, like, knowing all that I know, it's just like, okay, it has to come down. It has to come down a little.
This is why you're here, bro. This is why you're here.
Exactly.
You have the most unobjective view.
Look at the side by side.
And if you were to go for accuracy of what it's meant to look like, that would probably win the whole tournament.
Oh, for sure.
Right. It's exactly what it's meant to look like.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. If this was a beauty
Looking at them
contest,
side by side, Danhausen is like, I would immediately be drawn to that if I didn't know anything about customizing.
Absolutely.
Someone showed me 2 figures, I'd be like, "That's fucking sick."
and that's Jason's
I know the
organic
personal
reaction.
effort now behind each one, and the personal effort to me is far more one-sided to the Osprey,
For sure.
because that is so much more personal touch.
And to stress on the whole, it's not a beauty contest thing. To stress on that, the theme of this tournament was the abductees that I've abducted are the contestants, and the criteria to be an abductee isn't to make beautiful looking figures. It's to show that you've improved. You've shown growth. You've shown improvement. The desire to want to do better. So that's what got you in here in the first place. So, but this isn't a beauty contest tournament. If it was, this would take the cake, 100%.
Yeah, it's lovely. It is.
This would take the cake.
I agree. That head is painted fucking beautiful.
It's perfect, bro.
It's beautiful.
Objectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Objectively. Yeah, period. All right, so we're giving this one to Osprey for that reason.